The Texans got a much-needed win against the Dolphins, and the Chiefs grinded another one out to their 13-1 record. Do the Texans have enough to knock off the Chiefs this week?
No, they don't. And I'll be very plain and to the point on that one. I just think when it comes down to this time of year, it comes down to offensive line play. This Houston Texans team, I'll go back to a word I used last week, has been abysmal.
I love it.
And Joe Mixon has been playing great football this entire year, not because of his offensive line, but in spite of his offensive line. CJ Stroud has got happy feet this year, something he did not have a year ago because of his offensive line. So I think it all falls on this offensive line. They have skill. They have talent. They got one of the better quarterbacks in the game. But when you're uncomfortable in the pocket, heck, I played with Tom Brady. If he took a hit against Jonathan Allen on the third play of the game, guess what? He was skittish the rest of the game. It doesn't matter who you are, no matter what. And so I think you're seeing a lot of that with this Houston Texans team. And I think because of that, I think Spags is going to bring it. He's going to bring the heat. Chris Jones is going to get after it. The boys on the edge are going to come after it. He's going to do what he does and pressure us and bring the mic backside all the time. Blitz the will, bring the mic over the top where it looks like a cross dog. It's not a cross dog. He's just pressure rushing to get home, screw up the offensive line, and that he will do against this Houston Texans team. I think the Chiefs roll in this one.
Okay, biggest story in this matchup, right? Patrick Mahomes. Is he healthy? Is he not healthy? Should he play? You're the head coach. Put your head coach ball cap on right here. Even if Patrick Mahomes could play, do you take it easy with him this game? Do you let him play? Do you sit him for a couple weeks? What would you do?
Hey, Patrick, you want to play? Yes, coach. Okay, let's go. That's it. You talk to the trainer. The trainer has the number one say, first of all. It's up to the trainer, then it's up to Patrick. That's all I can do is listen to them. I'm never going to force a guy to sit. I'm never going to force a guy to play. If the player says he can go and the trainer says he can go and he's not going to do any further damage to it, you're going, man. We got to win. We need the number one seed if you want a three-peat, win a Super Bowl. We got to have the number one seed in order to do that. Now, if he's banged up a little bit, he's limping around at practice, then maybe I'll say we'll take a week off because we have a short week coming up. Let Carson Wentz have the ball and see what he can do against this Texans team. So, totally up to the trainer, up to Patrick, and then I'll make the final say, but it'll really be based on those two.
Do you have confidence in Carson Wentz?
No, not that much. No.
No.
We're going from the greatest player in the NFL to Carson Wentz. So no. But sometimes you have to. And Carson is a capable player. He's played a lot of football, played a lot of clutch football, made some good plays, had some tough games. It's not at the end of the world if Carson plays. It's a great experience because if something does happen to Patrick moving forward, backup quarterbacks have had to lead their teams to Super Bowls. You know, it's happened before, obviously. So get him ready for a game and see what he can do and then get Mahomes back to close to 100% the next week, which would not be the end of the world, in my opinion. But if Patrick can play, you're damn right I'm giving him the ball.
Wouldn't it be unique because Wentz went down with an ACL injury and then Nick Foles came in and won the Super Bowl for the Eagles? It would be fitting for his career if he could come in and win a couple games for the Chiefs.
This time of year, you're all banged up. Maybe not as bad as Patrick and his ankle. Who knows? I mean, I don't know the diagnosis, but if you're healthy, you play, right? Like it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're 13-1, you're thinking no. We're competitors, right? Like I'm going to tape it up and go at every moment that I possibly can, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about that because at the end of the day, the minute that you take some time off, you come back, you're going to be a little rusty. Like I hated taking it. I needed to as I got older later in my career, but taking Wednesdays off, I even hated that because now I miss seeing that whole Wednesday practice on the practice field. And so, I think there's so many things that go into winning a football game come Sunday that most people don't realize. And it's all staying in rhythm. It's all staying in exactly your routine. It's all getting the reps. It's all feeling all the things and seeing all the looks and all the different things that go into Wednesday through Saturday to make you be able to play on Sunday. But yeah, I mean, if he can play, he's going. There's no question about it. You've watched him over the years. I mean, getting fights with Andy on the sideline. I'm going.
We talked about, the Dolphins matchup last week against the Texans. The Texans found a way to win. Did you like what they did? Did you like what you saw from them? And how do you feel about this matchup against the Chiefs this weekend?
I liked 50% of what I saw from the Houston Texans. There's really nothing on that offense that I can point to. Nico Collins made 2 big grabs, but there was no explosion. Joe Mixon got stymied this last weekend. He got banged up in this game too. He went down. He came out of the game. So if they lose Joe Mixon, he has been the one bright spot for this offense. I thought Nico Collins would come back and this offense would open up again. He was on a historic tear to begin the season. So the offense, no, there is really nothing to be excited about. about, and you have Steve Spagnuolo and company breaking down that film, they are going to get after the Houston Texans. But I will go to the other side of the ball. Derek Stingley Jr. has been one of the best defensive backs in football since he's came into this league. He put the clamps on Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill had 2 hands on the ball as a number 1 rated player, and Derek Stingley Jr. said, no, that's mine. Like, he played bully ball, and that's how this Houston Texans defense plays. Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson are getting after it. Danico Autry, a D tackle that, a name is not a household name. So when you're sitting in the garage with your buddy, Tim Settle Jr. has been playing great for this Houston Texans D line as well. They are flying around. They are epitome of their coach. And if they can get after the Chiefs without a Patrick Mahomes, there is a way in which this team could pull out a victory against the Chiefs.
Hey, who drafted Tim Settle?
Hey, got him for Virginia Tech.
He's playing great ball.
Love Tim Settle. I think it was 4th round, old Timmy boy.
He's playing good. He sat behind Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne for years in Washington and is kind of really coming to his own.
He's a really good rotational guy because he's athletic. He's got size enough to handle himself against the run. Not a great pass rusher, but kind of a little disruptive guy when he gets in there. Mainly used on first, second down, but he is definitely a very good rotational guy and proven it this year. But you're right. I love the Texas defense. They play hard, man. Just keep giving CJ some opportunities. He'll make you pay now that our guy's back. Nico Collins is back, and they'll be okay offensively. But you're right. They got to block better.
AQ, we talked about confidence and winning and how that is contagious and, that feeling in the locker room when you're kind of rolling, just, hey, no matter what, like, we're going to figure out a way to win. That's what the Chiefs are doing. Does it work the other way? Like, if you're the Texans coming in to play the Chiefs and you see them 13-1 and like not playing that good really, but they never lose, like, is there an intimidation factor for the Texans?
There is. I mean, and then you also have 2 Lombardis standing behind that name, right? At the end of the day, over the last couple of years, it's the it factor, right? What is it? Nobody can ever describe it, but you're watching it. You watch it every week with the Chiefs. You watch them just find ways to win. I don't know what that exactly is. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's leadership. I don't know what it is. Probably has something to do with number 15. There's no question about it. He always finds a way when he's got the ball in his hands at the end. It's the Michael Jordan. It's that whole world, right? But they continue to find ways to win with Justin Watson as a receiver, with these guys who are not household names. You sprinkle in the guys on defense with the superstars, and they continue to shine, and Andy continues to do what he does. And so, yes, it's 100% contagious, and you feel it in the locker room when you're playing on that side of the ball. But then when you're going in to play that team, you're like, man, we got to do everything right. There's a little added pressure. It's like, can't make a mistake, can't turn the ball over, got to win the turnover battle, got to do all the things right in order for us to even have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, real quick, all you guys who have subscribed and got us over 10,000 subscriptions, thank you. If you're new to this show, you like what we're doing, show us some love, drop a like, and hit subscribe. We're going to continue to roll on this show. We love what we do. All right, this is kind of for everybody. You look at the schedule. These teams played on Sunday. Now they're going to play on Saturday, and then they're going to turn around and play on Christmas Day. That's a stretch, boys. That is tough. I'll go with you, Justin. Have you ever been on a stretch like that other than just turn around and playing on Thursday nights?
I played on Christmas last year where things got a little convoluted, but not coming off like a short week, going into like a shortened week, going into an even shorter week. This is definitely something that you look at the money of the league. Like there's a reason that Netflix is paying all that money. And when the dollars flow in, a lot of times, like, we're not looking at the data and the health and player safety. We're looking at our pocketbooks and being like, hey, we got a chance to make $150 million to play on one day. All right, guys, put a little tape on it. And that makes me nervous for Patrick Mahomes. If you're playing in a situation like that, where you're playing 3 games in a very shortened period of time, what was it, 11 days? You're starting to think about your star quarterback and protecting him from himself, because you just heard 3 players talk about it. Any way I can get on the field, let's get the Toradol going. Let's get the anti-inflammatories going. A player wants to play. Sometimes you got to protect a player from himself. And that is something that I'm very weary of going into this game. I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to play in this one.
We could talk about this all day as players, the toll it takes on your body, the mental side of it, the preparation, if you're banged up. Talk to me about it as a coach. Coaches have just as much or more problems with their time and putting together a plan. How hard is that on you guys?
Personally, I think all these games should be flexed. If you're not involved in the playoffs, you should have to play in these 10-game stretches or whatever it is. For teams that are battling for a playoff berth right now, and have to play 3 games in 10 days is unfair. It's not right for the league to do this, because You want your team to be totally prepared physically and mentally to these last 3 games. I mean, they're going to make or break your season. You're going to make the playoffs. You're going to win your division. You get the number 1 seed. No, but you got to play 3 games in 10 days. Sorry. What the hell? This is crunch time in the NFL. This is the best time of the year to watch it. And to force these guys to play 3 games in 10 days this time of year, I think is ridiculous. However, if they have to do it, which they do, I understand the money. That's a big part of it. Justin, you're a money guy and a cap guy. I got it. Maybe the cap will go up a little bit. You can afford a quarterback next year at Cleveland. Maybe that'll work out for you. But if you got to do it, your preparation has to be very precise. You have to spend some extra time in the building, obviously. Instead of going to bed at 10 o'clock, you might have to go to bed at midnight. You might have to bunk up in the office, take a little sleeping bag and sleep on the floor because you got to come up with a third down plan, a red zone plan, a 2-minute plan, a short yardage plan, all these plans, a blitz plan. You got to watch all this blitz thing, especially if you're playing a new team you haven't played all year. You got 14 games to go through of blitzes. That takes a long time. So preparation is going to be a little bit disrupted. But you got to get it done. You got to work your ass off and get your team ready to play.
As a player, you want to play. We've determined that and established that. But look at the Texans. Okay, they've clinched their division and they have no shot at the bye. So going into these last 3 weeks, is there a situation where maybe the last game they say we're going to sit all the starters and be ready for round 1, or do you let them finish out the season and just continue to try to build some momentum as you boost your way into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think you're going to play your starters and maybe try to get some of your key backups involved a little bit. Maybe bring in some younger guys to play a little bit more, get some substitution in. But you got to get your offense playing better. You got to have better confidence going into the last game of the year and going into the playoffs because you're not really going to remember what happened week 3 or 4. You're going to remember what happened. Everybody has short-term memory. We're going to remember what happened recently. I want to go into the game, into the playoffs with a fresh start, with a confidence about ourselves, a little bit of a swagger. And you can't get that if you're sitting on a bench watching your team get beat 38-0. Let's get C.J. Stroud going a little bit. Hopefully Joe Mixon gets a little more healthy. Let's get him some hits. Maybe in the third quarter, late in the third quarter, we'll take some guys out. But I got to see the offense perform better. I got to make sure our defense continues what they're doing. Ball hawk, attack style of defense. And maybe I'll let them sit in the fourth quarter. Who knows? But we got to play and get some confidence and some continuity.
Want to win money watching football? With Underdog, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash just by picking higher or lower on your favorite player's stats, like whether or not your team's running back will score a touchdown this weekend. Millions of fans have won billions of dollars on Underdog. Will you be next? Sign up now to get a free pick for your first cash entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. Download the Underdog app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com to get started today.
All right, let's get into some game picks. I'm starting with you, Justin. Texans at the Chiefs.
If Mahomes plays, I got the Chiefs. If Mahomes doesn't play, I got the Texans.
I think that's definitely fair. I mean, he's AQ Shipley compared him to the Michael Jordan, and it's hard to argue. He's been one of the best ever over the last several years. So if Mahomes plays, you're taking the Chiefs. If Wentz plays, you're taking the Texans. Got it. AQ.
If he plays, I'm taking the Chiefs. If he doesn't play and Andy Reid's playing quarterback, I'm taking the Chiefs. The best player for the Houston Texans was Dari. Jay, can you pronounce that last name, the guy who had the punt return?
Yeah, he played for me. His sister is a big-time WNBA player.
Can you pronounce that last name?
Nope.
Yep, there it is. Okay, perfect.
Ogarabi.
There it is.
Yeah.
That was the best offensive play for the Houston Texans, so I'm going to stick with Chiefs and Chiefs.
Taking the Texans, man. Texas defense. We're going to create some plays, and we're going to get Nico Collins some looks. One-on-one looks versus Trent McDuffie. Get big on him, Nico. Get big. Let's high point a couple of these things. Let's get going, Houston. Houston, Texans. Upset.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm taking the Chiefs all the way. I mean, hopefully Patrick Mahomes is okay. Maybe his ankle is not as bad as what everybody's thinking. And even if he doesn't play, it's a chance for Carson Wentz to come off the bench. The reason why I think they'll win is because their defense. Their defense shows up every week. They've won just about every game. The Texans' offense is struggling. I mean, the Chiefs are playing at home.
The Chiefs' offense is rolling. They've been rolling all year. What do they average? About 18 points a game. Wow. Let's take the Chiefs and that high-powered offense with Carson Wentz coming in, handing the ball to Pacheco or throwing the ball to Christian Watson. Yeah, okay.
You know what else they average?
Christian Watson.
They average at least 1 point more than every other
Justin Watson
team they play.
There you go, AQ.
Yeah, they're 13-1, and I'm rolling with that all day. Chiefs take it to the Texans this weekend.